in What Money with Friends. Every single week, Wednesdays, we get an opportunity to speak to you about money, life, and everything else. It's always a privilege for me because I know money encompasses everything. And so tonight, I want to say that we have an awesome lady with us. This organization, I was introduced to this organization and to her by a mutual friend. And the second I heard about this organization, I said, you know what, I need to have her on the show. So yeah, we say money encompasses everything. And tonight we have Molly Goodman. She is the executive director for an organization called Midas Collaboratives. It's very important that you learn about this because this is an organization that's doing what? Share the wealth. Their priorities to community members building. With that, I would like to encourage you to share, let your friends know, share the wealth because information is power. And the more informed that you are, the more powerful you will become and the more wealthy you will become. So tonight, you're going to hear about how Midas Collaborative is sharing the wealth through the executive director, Molly Goodman. So without further ado, let me have her say hello, introduce herself quickly, and then we're going to dive into very important information about why sharing the wealth matters.
Hi, Gabrielle. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Molly Goodman, and I am the executive director of the Midas Collaborative, and I'm so excited to be here.
I know, Molly. I'm so excited to have you here. Why don't you share a little bit about your background? I know you went to law school, right? How long have you been working for Midas Collaborative?
I have been with Midas for 2 years now. So after law school, I started doing foreclosure prevention counseling at an organization called Urban Edge in Roxbury, Jamaica Plain. Right. And that sort of introduced me to this entire world of financial counseling and housing counseling agencies. And I moved over to the home ownership side to help first-time home buyers go through the process and get into it with safe financial products. Mm-hmm. And I joined the board of Midas because we're a member organization and I was part of our members. And then I was lucky enough to step into the executive director role 2 years ago when it opened up.
Yeah, I know. I was reading online that you became the executive, you said 2 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So for those who've never heard of Midas Collaborative, can you let us know a little bit about the mission, vision, and also how long has that organization been around?
So
and
Midas
the demographic and your reach, like the demographic that you are working with.
Yeah. So Midas, our mission is to advance the financial security of low and moderate income individuals and households, which sounds very broad. But basically, we're a member organization. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of financial counseling agencies and housing counseling agencies that need some support. So Midas is a central convener for those organizations. We offer support in a number of ways around financial education. And we also administer match savings programs.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot here, and I want to go over each one of them. I know the organization, you are a member organization, meaning like you have members who join your organization. So how does an organization become a member organization or partner of Midas Collaborative?
So they can start by visiting our website. And we will share that contact information at the end of this session. But there's a place on our website for members to join in a form. It costs $125 a year per organization. And it's also, you could reach out to us at midascollab.org and ask any questions, and we can get back to folks with information about how to join.
Yeah, but what are some of the qualifications? Like, can anybody join Midas Collaborative, or are you looking for a specific type of organization? Because I know, given your mission and vision, you don't want to. Not everybody is perhaps qualified, right?
So typically,
not every organization, because your organization membership. Yeah, go ahead.
Typically, our organizations, our members are nonprofits that are working in the financial security space. But really, we're pretty flexible in terms of, for-profit organizations, or really any organization that is interested in helping to advance financial security. I think that, we're looking to expand this work into like employers that have many low income employees. We see kind of endless potential to bring more partners to the table who are passionate about our mission to advance financial security.
Yeah, definitely, because we know financial literacy and also the wealth gap is such a big issue, especially with the economy right now. So many families are struggling. So based on your work or experience, what are some of the ways, like I always say, like the disparity, it's like a high-speed train. It's going so fast. It's happening to families so fast that some of the families were pretty okay now are finding themselves struggling because of the cost of living and inflation. So what are some of the ways you believe that families could that and get into a better situation?
So at Midas, one of our main priorities for policy is focusing on asset building. And that is unique from other programs and other social safety net programs, in that it's not just thinking about the current immediate needs, it's thinking about long-term investment. And that is, a critical piece of the wealth gap, is the differences in net worth. And without acquiring assets, folks are left out of the wealth generating game. And so we focus on opportunities to invest in citizens, really. So match savings is our dominant program that we've been involved in for about 20 years. But another significant program that has been introduced this year that we're trying to get through the legislature is baby bonds. Setting aside money for kids right when they're born and letting it, compound interest is an amazing thing. And there's like a lump of money at the end when they turn 18 that they can use to purchase an asset, a home, a post-secondary education, or even to start a small business.
Yeah, when we're offline, we were talking about home ownership and how that's such an important part, because unfortunately for many families, that's the only way they're gonna be able to build asset. But as we know, because of the rent burden that so many families are dealing with, having to pay so much towards rent, like so much of the incomes towards rent. So what are some of the organizations that are you working with that's helping alleviate some of the burdens that families are feeling right now in terms of the rental market, so that they can transition into homeownership and then generational wealth?
So there are quite a few programs that help with down payment assistance and closing costs. That is really quite a barrier for many folks to get into homeownership, because it's a big upfront cost. I have to do a plug for the first-time home buying classes. Many of our member organizations offer the first-time home buying classes, but it's a really great place to start your homeownership journey. To get all, the process itself is kind of confusing. And so it really helps to hear from experts and real estate professionals that can kind of walk you through it. But it also helps to make folks aware of the many down payment assistance programs and closing costs. We also have really fantastic first-time home buyer loan programs in Massachusetts. One is called One Boston, and the other is mainly through Mass Housing. And there's really a lot of help out there to move folks from rental into home ownership, and to start them on that journey.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if you remember that I mentioned that Antonita came on our show, and she's from Maha. Yeah, she's from Maha, and that's one of your members organization, right? Yeah. And so, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Maha has a fantastic program called Stash, and it is very special because it is targeted to first generation home buyers, meaning that your parents or your grandparents can't have owned a home. And that really helps target those funds to help close the wealth gap, to focus on individuals who have been kept out of wealth generating opportunities and don't have that opportunity from their parents to tap into their home equity to buy their own home.
Yeah, definitely. We know on the show again, we say money encompasses everything. And every year we talk about how important it is to have a goal, to have a written plan, actually written so that you can plan for your financial goals, financial future. And I know that for many families, the lack of education. I know Mara has offered home buyer classes and all that stuff. But Midas, the reason why I was introduced to you, because one of my friends, everybody knows, he's been calling me saying, Gabrielle, you gotta get connected to these people and that people, and that's Joel. Joel had called me and say, listen, Midas is doing a huge event at Suffolk University. You need to go and be part of that. And I remember going there, sitting there, and seeing so many people really learning about their rights. So I know you are putting together events like this. Why is it important that member organization and also individuals, if they're able to attend those events so that they can become financially literate and competent, knowing where to go when they need help, right?
So I have such a soft spot for nonprofits, and there are so many of them doing amazing work with very limited resources. And so we are here to sort of fill in the gaps and help provide training and resources around financial education and financial literacy to help connect them to resources that are already in existence. We've been doing quite a bit of work around advocating for a graduation requirement in personal finance, so that we're bringing it to kids early on and they're not getting out into the economy and taking on student loans before they really understand what these concepts mean. So I think it's very important to be that central source for all of these nonprofits that are doing amazing work, because I have been one of those employees, and it's really hard, and they do it with such little resources. So any time that we can fill in the gaps and provide curriculums and other resources and train the trainer and things that will help them provide services to their community, we're going to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And you do it as early as possible in terms of like training the younger folks. Like there are organizations who actually go into schools now. Unfortunately, we don't have legislation. We don't have a mandate in Massachusetts where every single, like you were saying, every single child graduating from high school is financially literate or has taken minimum financial literacy classes. But at the end of the day, if this doesn't start happening, we're gonna have the gap is gonna keep on widening and be a lot in terms of like out of control. Because right now we have, I had done a show about the student debt. It's $1.8 trillion, and many times half of the money that kids are signing up for at school, at universities, it's not even for tuition. It's for living expenses. It's for other things that they could have perhaps saved money for, going back to the baby bond. Perhaps if they had a baby bond to help them pay for universities, then, for the university education, then they wouldn't be in the having a mortgage after graduation. Because I believe that if you have $200,000-$300,000, like some of my friends who have graduated from universities, that's a mortgage. And especially
a mortgage on yourself.
Yeah. So that education is important, and aligning with organizations that are member organization of Midas to learn how to protect yourself and to learn how to fight, because you have a number of initiatives that I would like for you to kind of address briefly, and also share with our audience how they can go and learn more about these initiatives. Now, you just mentioned the baby bond. Can you, for some people, you had mentioned like, being able to start accumulating wealth from day one, from baby. But can you tell us why has it not happened if it's such a good thing?
Baby bonds are relatively new program. The only places that it exists so far is in Connecticut and Washington, D.C. So it's still new, and we're trying to, get Massachusetts in the game early on. But I think up until the pandemic, there was a lot of stigma around just providing cash benefits, providing money to people who need help. And then they did the child tax credit. And I thought that people's minds started to shift about that in policy circles, that this was a really effective policy. It helped cut child poverty. We should be focusing on how to invest in our citizens. And so I think that helped open up the conversation to programs like baby bonds that are a direct investment in people, because everything that they've been doing so far hasn't worked. And we have more of a wealth gap today than ever before. And so we have to kind of get a little bit radical with how we try to close that gap.
So how would that bond get funded though?
From the state. So it's a long road, but I'm optimistic because for these types of programs, the return on investment is huge. This is like trickle up economics because this money goes into the communities. People spend it in the communities and it benefits them. And like that will support small businesses. And all of that is like a chain reaction. And so we really just are working on making the case right now and doing public education, especially for our legislators, to help them understand why this is such a good bet.
Yeah. And you had mentioned share the wealth. Share the wealth. That's the slogan, but also your number one mission, to help to learn, to teach families how they can learn how to share the wealth, right? Or participate in the wealth of this country. And I know that you had mentioned briefly the match savings account, also known as IDA, the individual development account. Can you let us know how it works? And also if it's still available for families who are watching right now and saying like, I haven't saved any money. And if I can have an account like this, I would love to get it going. And how do I go about doing that? Mm-hmm.
So match savings accounts are a tool that's used alongside other types of financial education and counseling. So for example, the first-time homebuyers who graduate from Maha's class are then able to enroll in Stash, where they open a custodial account where they can save funds. And at the end, when they reach their savings goal, they will get a match from Maha of up to $20,000. And that is, significant. It helps put more down payment down on a house, which can help reduce the monthly mortgage payment. So that is, how that program works. The bad part is that we had federal funding for these programs for many years, from the late 90s through 2017, and then it got zeroed out, which was very unfortunate. And so all of our programs that currently run are running with private funds that they've pulled, from philanthropy and applied to grants. And that's like how Maha started their Stash program. So there are some programs that we're running. There's about 9 or 10 of them across the state, and information about those are available on our website. So if you reach out to Midas staff, we're able to connect you with a program if there's one in your area that you would be eligible for. But we're also working on bringing state funding to match savings. And we have a bill that we're advocating for that would help us, provide the funds and help more programs start across the state.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, Molly, tonight was because I know that so much is available. But if you're not privy, if you're not being informed, if you don't know where to go, you'll continue to do the same thing and expect different results, because they are member organizations. Because Midas is one organization, but all your members are organizations that are doing great work in the community. And if you get in contact with Midas, they'll be able to spread the wealth and let you reach out to all their members organizations, right? And they'll be able to help you specifically. Now, again, we're saying share the wealth matters. Why is it important? Because if you don't know how it's being shared, you're not gonna be able to get your piece of the pie. And it's so important that in order to alleviate and to reduce poverty and to close that wealth gap that we have in this country, you have to have knowledge and you have to know where to go. Would you agree, Molly?
Absolutely. It's not necessarily common sense. You really have to look for this information and find it from trusted sources. There's a lot of bad information out there too.
Yeah, definitely. So again, I just want to say that if you are someone who's looking to do better, you got to find a better way to do it. And Midas is here for you. Now, again, we had just mentioned that you only have members. So do you have an example of like different stories? Because I know I was on your website. There's so many stories about how you have helped individuals and organizations. Can you share one or two stories with us, please?
Yeah, there are so many stories. We had a participant who was saving up money so that he could purchase a truck, and he got like a really old truck, but it helped him start his business, his small business that was, a handyman doing jobs around his town. He was not able to do that until he had reliable transportation.
Mm-hmm.
That is not having reliable transportation is a huge burden for many folks, and it is a barrier to them maybe getting a job that will pay more, that can help them accumulate wealth. So there's lots of barriers to wealth accumulation that we're trying to break down. And another, example, we have a program, one of our member organizations, Break Time, they work with youth currently experiencing homelessness. And so during their program, they're able to save $650 and get $650 matched, and they leave with a rainy day fund. So that is a cushion for any, unexpected expenses that come up as they're traveling this journey, trying to find secure housing. It's really important to have some liquid resources available to them.
Yeah, definitely. Having support and having access to support is definitely the way to go about building generational. Again, we had talked about housing. For me, housing is a human right, and we know how the cost of housing has been a hindrance for so many families. We talked about the rent burden. There are so many ways. We had mentioned how you could benefit if you don't have the burden of having to pay high rents. You'll be able to save to buy a home. But there are so many other ways, like we're saying, like you could buy a business. Send your kids to school. I know a friend of mine, she said that because my parents did not have to deal with the high cost of housing when they were renters, we're able to go to private schools. And now we have much better lives. And in addition to that too, we talk about your health is your wealth. Being able to have some downtime and vacation time with your family. There are so many ways that having knowledge and having access to information from organizations such as your member organizations will help alleviate the burdens that so many families are dealing with right now. Agree?
Mm-hmm. Agree, yeah. Absolutely. And I think like one thing that's really important to remember is you have to have a credit score to get, credit to purchase many of these assets. That's the first step for many people in this journey, is that you have to work on the credit score first, and then that opens up doors to additional assets and opportunities.
Yeah. So Midas offers holistic. That's what it says on your website, right? Holistic financial literacy programs where you not only provide endless resources to your member organizations, but they go around and kind of spread the wealth by sharing that same information and more with the members, the clients, or the members of the community that the different communities that they serve, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So I would like to say, we want to give everybody an opportunity to reach out and also an opportunity to give back, because there are people who are watching who might say, wow, this is a great organization. I want to be able to donate my time or resources to that. Or someone might say, you know what, I need to reach out so that I can learn more so I could empower myself. How do they go about doing that, Molly?
I'm going to share my screen for just 1 minute and share some contact information for the organization.
All right.
Can you see this?
Yes, I see it. Share the wealth. Yes. Donations. Yes. contact information, right?
Yes. So one thing that I want to highlight here is if you visit matchsavings.org, you can learn about our bill that we're working on and advocating for. You can join our Match Savings Coalition, and you can also write a letter to your legislators asking them to sign on and support the bill. The other thing that I want to mention, a volunteer opportunity that's coming up, we have our second annual Match Gala taking place November 2nd. It's our annual fundraising event. And we need volunteers, and volunteers can come for free. So we would love it. If you're interested, reach out to us at midascollab.org and let us know that you're interested, and we'll pull you in.
Yeah, I know I'll be at that party. And I'll volunteer definitely as well. And it's not that far from, but it's right in Boston, one of the boroughs, one of the cities, right?
It's in Rosendale.
Rosendale. And you have the different website, and as well as all the social media pages that folks could actually link to with you all by liking the page, by sharing the page, and by learning more. Because I know when I went on your page, I learned a lot about the work that you're doing. Especially, I wanted to ask you that one question, which we didn't discuss prior, but I noticed that you and a group of your colleagues went to DC last year, or was it this year?
Oh, this year.
This year, you're doing advocacy work in addition to all the advocacy work that you do here in Boston, but in Massachusetts, but also you do advocacy work, because at the end of the day, one of the initiatives that I wanted, dear to my heart, that I wanted to kind of have you talk a little bit about, and I'm sure that's the reason why you are in DC, right? The initiative, let me see if I have it here. Was it the tax initiative? The children and family tax?
Oh, yeah. We actually.
Yeah. Child and family tax credit.
Yep, that's in Massachusetts, actually. That is,
okay.
We are advocating for a $600 credit, and it's actually in the legislature right now. There is a committee working on tax relief, and we are really hoping that the $600 credit will be included in their compromise, because give people money it really helps.
Yeah,
but I was in DC advocating for baby bonds at the national level, and our Congresswoman, Representative Ayanna Pressley, is championing that, and she introduced the bill. And so we went down and to support her and tried to bring some of her colleagues on board.
Yeah, definitely. The key is to know that there are organizations out there doing great work. And I'm excited. I'm so grateful that Joel has introduced me to your organization, because I know by going to that one event at Suffolk University, I gained so much information, and I was able to help myself, and have shared like the information that I was able to get that day with others in the community. It's very important that you know that there are organizations, you're not alone, because one of the things that we've said on this show, money encompasses everything, and community matters. You have to be part of community. You have to know there are organizations out here who have their core value, their mission and vision is to help build you up and help you understand how to accumulate wealth and help you participate in the wealth of this country. So one last word, Molly, if someone is watching and they're saying like, you know what, I would like again to learn more, in addition to the website, why is it important for them to reach out to you and to organizations that are member organization of Midas?
So there are so many people out there to help with these, with financial counseling and financial security. Even the city of Boston provides free financial counseling to all of its residents with financial checkups and credit repair services. So I think a lot of people, they get timid and they don't ask for help because maybe they're embarrassed or they're shy. But the reality is so many people don't know anything about this. It's not, you're not alone. And And there's so many people out there that will help in this nonprofit field, especially. You can rely on them for good information. They will point you in the right direction of safe financial products, and they'll really help you go through the process, whether it's home ownership or some other asset that you're looking to acquire. Really just starting at the beginning and working on your credit is the first step.
Yeah, definitely. I had stated here that building wealth is no small undertaking. It's not a small undertaking. Many of us don't have family members or close friends who could help us, teach us on how to build a reserve, like a savings account, or how to set up your retirement account, or how to even home ownership. Many of them are kind of winging it themselves. They don't know how to strategically do it right so that they can keep their homes. Because we all know that in 2008 and beyond, whenever we have a crisis like COVID-19, many of the people are losing their homes. They're folks from certain communities, especially Black and brown communities. The target audience or the target market that you have is low to moderate income communities, families. So those families that don't have rich uncles, they don't have resources, generational wealth, they're starting from the ground floor. It's very important that if you are one of those who are starting from the ground floor, that you align yourself with organization, you partner up with organization that can help you, guide you, and help you do it right the first time. So yes, Midas Collaborative wants to help you. They want, right? You guys want to share the wealth.
Yeah.
You want to teach every person who's watching here and beyond, them and their families, how to overcome barriers and how to build wealth. So please reach out, make it happen for you and for your generation to come, right?
Yes.
Generational wealth, right? So yes, thank you so much, Molly, for being on the show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
I just wanted to share your organization. I'm so happy that you came. And I hope that those who are watching will do something about it, take action, and really go ahead and do what they need to do in order for them to build wealth. Because on Let's Talk Money with Friends, we say money encompasses everything. And every Wednesday, when we're saying like we are bringing timely and important information to you, relevant. And this information tonight is very relevant because you cannot say you didn't know that there were organizations out there and resources out there to help you. And that's the reason why you never got anywhere. So we want you to get access. We want you to take opportunity, to take grab of all and every opportunity that's coming to you. So please reach out to Midas Collaborative. They will guide you or they will lead you to the right organization that can help you with all your financial goals, whether it is to send your kids to college, whether it is to buy a house, whether it is to save money, or learn how to better manage your finances. So thank you so much for tonight. Have a blessed night. And until next week, we'll see you. Please tag, share, and